in order to survive and be as big as that, you've got to be canny business people, and they really are. They beat me up. They beat me up so bad. But it's a very complicated deal, actually. So we've got about 7 different income streams on this deal. Interesting, we don't get any of the ticket revenue. They get the ticket revenue, Pink Floyd. We get a tiny cut of the sales of the ticket commission, because there's a commission you pay when you buy a ticket. We get a small cut of that. But most importantly, we get a rent on the exhibition space. We're getting a consultancy fee because we're providing curatorial consultancy. We get a share of the shop revenue, and we get to produce a book and pay a royalty back. So it's a deal that involves royalties going backwards and forwards all over the place. Most of the money comes out of Pink Floyd and goes to us, but occasionally money comes out of us and goes to Pink Floyd. So the deal was very, very complicated. It was a huge, great big fat 100-page contract with IP rights going back and forward. They're very, very controlling as well of their brand. You know about Pink Floyd are one of those bands who blocked Apple, so you can't. To this day, you can only buy albums. You can buy Pink Floyd albums on iTunes. They won't let people download individual tracks. You can buy an entire album, and they control their legacy really, really tightly, which means that everything has to be marketed. So we can't. I can barely say the word Pink Floyd without having to run it past Pink Floyd first. So don't tell anybody I've said Pink Floyd without running it past. So we haven't. This doesn't start yet. It doesn't start until the 13th of May. We've already sold 30,000 tickets to that. And there's a pre-sold tickets, and we expect to get a lot more. And those tickets are the most expensive tickets we've ever had as well. They start at £20. They go to £24 a ticket. So it's already making a lot of money. And it'll be a bit like the David Bowie. There'll be costumes. There'll be sorts. We've got lots of inflatable pigs. And we've got stuff in the sets and art and the stuff that features on the album. And we're expecting a lot of beardy middle-aged men to spend money on our shop. So that's the exhibition side of things, and that's a big part of the business model of the museum. Are the exhibitions. It's the same with all the museums. So when there's a big Picasso exhibition or a Matisse exhibition at the National Gallery or the Tate, that's when they put their firepower in. That's where they can get enormous amounts of money. In a short period of time, when people come from all over the world, they descend on. There were people from Pink Floyd. There will be people coming from all over the world to see that exhibition. There's a lot more stuff that goes on at the V&A or in all museums, which is less temporary in the sense that an exhibition is a short period of time. You do it. You might go on tour, but actually it's a short period of time. Whereas the collection, perhaps you don't know this about a national collection like the V&A or any other big museums. Once something goes into our collection, it can never go out. We can never sell stuff. That's against the law. Well, it's not. There are a couple of tiny exceptions. If you've got more than one thing of the same, if you've got 2 of the same thing, then you're allowed to sell one of them. So you're allowed to dispose of it if it's going to another institution. But the circumstances in which you can get rid of stuff are tiny. And we're constantly accumulating stuff. So how do we accumulate stuff? Well, people give us stuff. We get a lot of legacies. There are tax breaks you can get if you leave stuff to the nation. So we benefit a lot from that. We buy stuff. We do buy stuff. We go out into the market. In the old days, it would be we'd buy most of our stuff through Sotheby's and Christie's and big auction houses. Nowadays, a lot of stuff comes through eBay, particularly on things like furniture and fashion. Less so on fine art and ceramics, but furniture and fashion, a lot of the stuff comes through eBay. But a lot of the time, we get given stuff by people because there's an awful lot of kudos in having stuff in our collection. So you get designers and artists who will volunteer. They'll say, have it in collection for free, because it just fills them with a great sense of well-being, knowing that some of their stuff is in the museum. I want to tell you an example of one of those stories now, because it's a nice, interesting IP story as well. Does anybody know what that is? WeChat? So WeChat is a social network. It's effectively the Chinese Facebook. Facebook has this difficult relationship with China, where it's quite restricted. But WeChat is what, as I understand it, most Chinese people use for social networking purposes. It doesn't have, I don't know how many users Facebook has, like 6 billion or something. It doesn't have that. It's got billions of users, mainly in China, but also outside of China. So it's a huge piece of kit. Now, you might look at a museum like the V&A and you might think, well, you know what it's about. It's about sculpture and it's about stained glass and bits of furniture. But our remit, and it is, because we look after art and design, but that design bit we interpret really, really broadly. So we have gallery space, which is given over to architectural design. I love that gallery space. It's got things like the architectural plans for Gatwick Airport, and it's got the models for Blue Water Shopping Centre, because these are important pieces of design history, and that's what we collect. We collect design history, so that in 200 years' time, when somebody wants to know, well, what did a shopping centre look like in the late 20th century, they can go to the V&A and they can find exactly what a shopping centre looked like, because we've got the plans, we've got the architect models. We do exactly the same for what we call digital media. So we've got an exhibition coming up. We've got a team who are dedicated to video games. They spend their entire life collecting video games, storing video games for posterity, and virtual reality. They store up virtual reality. So these are people who are they're so clever, these people. What they're fascinated by is, what did virtual reality look like in 1998? And they'll talk to you endlessly about what 1998 virtual reality looks like. And then they'll jump. And then, of course, 2008, this happened. So they're interested in the design of digital stuff from almost like a historical perspective. So back to WeChat. One of these guys, and they're all quite young. I mean, these guys are in their guys and girls, they're in their sort of 20s, early 30s. So Brendan, who's the head of that digital design department, struck up a friendship with one of the senior people at WeChat. The company's called Tencent, Chinese company, huge Chinese company. And the deal, and what Brendan said was, look, it would be great if you could give us the WeChat platform, and we could keep it for posterity. And the WeChat people said, yeah, sure, we'll give you a copy of our platform, and you can keep it for posterity. So we said, job done. We came back to South Kensington, and had to figure out, well, actually, what have I just been offered, and what the hell is it that I'm going to do with this thing that I don't know what it is once I've got it? So he and I sat down, we figured out what it was he'd just been offered, and what it was that we were going to have to ask for. So what it was, with a social network, we're not interested in the data. So we don't care about the pictures and the texts and the updates and the jokes. That's not our concern. What we, as the Museum of Design, are concerned about is, what does the architecture that underpins the platform, what does that look like? And the truth is that with a sophisticated piece of technology like this platform, you can't. The answer to that question changes a couple of times a day. I mean, there's a team of developers who are constantly improving the system, and it improves. There'll be little updates, little fixes all day long to make it just keep ticking along, making sure. It's not as if they'll release a new version in January and then they do another one in April. It's not like